I'll use one of these.
Yeah.
We're going to reconvene the special meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn the special council meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. If you call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Yes. Harry.
Yes.
Duber.
We're going to move on to the public hearing, an ordinance agreeing to adjust the boundaries between Orange Village and the city of Beechwood. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 709.37 and zoning the new territory.
I think we have to adjourn this special meeting. You reconvened it, now you have to adjourn it, correct? And that's the new meeting.
He just
We
did
did
that.
it.
We took a vote. That's what that vote was to adjourn the
Yeah.
special meeting.
You said reconvene, make up our
He
minds.
said reconvene. Let me start.
I'm going to start with the law director, Steve Byron. Please.
Sure. There is a public hearing scheduled for this evening, and the public will have the opportunity to speak. The ordinance that's in front of council tonight moves the boundary line for the village, Orange Village, and the city of Beechwood. We have the mayor of the city of Beechwood here. And the way that that works, and we'll get into a better explanation of it with our building inspector, Bob McLaughlin, there are properties in both communities that are impacted by the existing boundary line. You'll see when Bob shows you, there's a property that has the office building in Beechwood that had to come to Orange Village to get a sign approved. And in Orange Village, there's a building that has parking in Beechwood, which is the Mooney Golf Station, station. So before we have the public hearing, we'll have a little presentation by the building commissioner to show us some graphic depictions of what's going on these properties.
All right, I have a couple of different things. I want to start, if I may, with the, this is an aerial photo. Oh, thank you. This is from the county's website. This is the most recent county aerial photo, fall of 2017, at least the most recent one available to us. This is the Mooney lot. To the right of this line is Orange. To the left of this line is Beechwood. And just, I'll show you a lot more in just a minute, but I wanted to show you this line continues on down 60-foot setback from the right-of-way, from the front property line. 60 foot back is where Orange ends and Beechwood begins. All right, so the proposed ordinance changes this boundary to bring it up next to the sidewalk, which would be a standard community configuration, so that everything behind that line would be in Beechwood and would be including all of their signs and the parking lots, as well as the buildings. That comes down quite a ways, comes down 3 lots. I have the addresses, but I just wanted to make it clear that that is one of the important parts of this, is that comes down through these 3 commercial lots, and then Beechwood's line, Orange starts below this horizontal line here. So that kind of gives you the quick layout. Up on towards Chagrin, that boundary line is proposed to be moved from the middle of the Mooney lot to the far outside edge of the Mooney lot. So the new boundary line would come down this line, come across to the front sidewalks, and then extend the rest of the way down until it hits Orange again on Orange Place Drive. All right, so that is the basic boundary proposal that changes. And this is, Just a minute. Part of the problem over time has been consistent enforcement across the property lines, across the community lines for the Mooney property. The Beechwood has cited for junk vehicles numerous times. And part of the issue is having a single standard that applies to the one business, and having Beechwood also has a different court system, so when you get into enforcement of property maintenance or zoning issues, you have different zoning issues, you have different courts, you have different communities trying to enforce them. These are the pictures that we have built up in our building department file over the years, and the mayor asked me to try to present a pictorial history of this. These are ones that I took the beginning of 17. They show some vehicle marks going back across the lawn to the north. And these are the aerial photos from the county's website. This one is 1993. You can see the vehicles, 2002. More 2006. You can see vehicles in the parking lot to the south on the next neighboring lot. 2008. They're mostly at that point still being stored up near the building. Over the next couple of cycles of these aerial photos, they begin to expand into the back. From this point, the next couple of pictures, they really tend to expand the number of vehicles being stored on the site. There, the rear lot on the Beechwood side only has been paved, and so additional vehicles are now being stored there. And then the last one is the aerial photo that I actually started with on the county's website. So the point of this was basically to show, what we're trying, what issues we have on the site, and how difficult it has been over time to have consistent and successful zoning code, property maintenance enforcement between the two communities.
Thank you, Bob. The village has a special guest this evening. Mayor Horowitz has come to this meeting, and he's been promised, I know he's a busy guy, has a lot of things to get to this evening over in Beechwood, so he can give us, the floor is yours to tell council what you want to tell council.
I wrote this down just so I could not make a mistake. I don't know what your procedure is. I'm Martin Horowitz, Mayor of Beechwood. I live at 24810 Meldon Boulevard, Beechwood, Ohio. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll just hold on to this. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I came here representing the City of Beechwood to clear up any misstatements or comments that have been represented by others as statements, promises, or agreements that I have made or any other official of the City of Beechwood or our council has made in regard to the Mooney property. At the outset, let me make several things clear. First, the Mooney family has every legal right to operate a repair garage and gas pumps on their property. Neither Orange nor Beechwood have any intention of causing their business to end. As far as I'm concerned, this business can operate on the corner into the 6th and 7th generation Mooney. Second, over the years, a towing operation has been established by this business. There are often dozens and dozens of towed cars on this lot, along with as many as 3 large flatbed tow trucks. You've seen some pictures that the building commissioner presented. We have similar pictures, and I believe all the council and myself, Mayor Mulcahy, have been past this area for a long time, and we've seen this problem expand. These are cars that obviously have been damaged in collision accidents and require body shop work and painting, if they can even be salvaged at all. In recent years, these cars and the tow trucks have been parked in the office building parking lot directly to the south of the Mooney property. That's the paved area. And that area specifically is only an office building and not zoned for any kind of storage. The one repair bay that exists on the lot does not contain the equipment for the repair of these cars. Over the years, Orange and Beechwood have repeatedly cited this business for storing these cars in violation of the zoning of this property. The cars are routinely moved from one side of the line to the other in satisfaction of the citation. And then within a few weeks, the same situation occurs again. In order to simplify the enforcement of the zoning code, officials from Beechwood and Orange met and decided to move the property line so that the Mooney property was completely in Orange, since only a very small portion of the property was in Beechwood. And I'm not 100% sure on the lines that were shown because according to the plat maps, there's a very small portion of their property in Beechwood. It's probably about 20 or 25%. After the details were worked out by our respective law directors and building commissioners, ordinances were presented to both Orange and Beechwood City Councils to effect this change. This kind of property line adjustment is done between cities and does not require notice to the owner nor his participation. On first reading of the ordinance, our council voted to move it to second reading. On second reading, the ordinance was placed on pending or in effect tabled. There was some discussion among our council based on some comments of the Mooney family that we should try and find a way to preserve this business. I believe these comments were made based on a lack of knowledge of the history of the violations of this business and the continued misrepresentation of the Mooney family that if the property went to Orange, the city would put them out of business, but if the property went to Beechwood, we would save them. In an effort to find some way around the situation, I discussed a proposal with officials from Orange. Since the Mooneys had already offered that they would put a fence around the back of their property so cars would not be seen from the roadway, we followed up on that offer. The proposal was that if they agreed to build a fence to the specifications of our respective building commissioners, and if both cities approved the fence, and if it was built within a specific time frame, then concurrently both cities and the Mooneys would agree to a memorandum of understanding as to the storage of extra cars on their lot. I want to make this point very clear. This in no way gives them permission or would authorize a variance to operate a towing operation or store damaged cars. It would only allow them to store towed cars on their property that they were going to be repairing in the service bay on their property. It would not allow them to maintain multiple tow trucks on the property. It also does not guarantee that at a future date the property line would not be changed. There are a lot of ifs to this solution. As of this morning, our building commissioners, both of our building commissioners met with representatives from the Mooneys, and I was informed that they had agreed to set a June 30th date to accomplish all this. Beechwood will continue to maintain our ordinance on pending based on the progress that is made by the Mooneys. But if they can't or do not comply with this proposal, then we will move forward with a vote on our ordinance. Again, I want to make some points very clear. There's only one person who can give accurate information on behalf of the city of Beechwood, and that is myself. If Mooney stand before this body or in any way represent that I promised something or that the city agreed to something, I would not accept that as accurate information without your law director checking with myself or with our law director. I know they've represented that Mayor Gordon has promised things over the years. Mayor Gordon is no longer the mayor of Beechwood, and there was nothing in writing from Mayor Gordon. What I am aware of is that there were numerous citations over the years, and as a councilman for 6 years prior to serving as mayor, I'm aware that this was a routine problem with the concept of cars being transported back and forth over the property line to, in effect, clear the citation. The only thing I can state tonight is that we have a proposition before them and a time frame regarding the fencing of their property. Even if this is accomplished, they still cannot operate a towing business in violation of our zoning codes. This has nothing to do with the quality of their family, the quality of their repairs, the length of time they've been in the community, the number of people who write letters or sign petitions. This is strictly an issue that revolves around conducting a type of business on a piece of property zoned for limited use. And it also goes to the efficient processing of future citations on the zoning code so that only one city has to handle the processing rather than two. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming down here and speaking. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing for comments, just because there's a lot of people here. I'd like to try to limit it to 2 minutes a commenter. If there's time at the end and there's additional comments, we can, have additional time after that. But if anybody would like to make a comment, I'd ask for you to first come to the microphone and state your name and your address, and then you can say your part. So, starting, Mr. Mooney. Yes.
President,
yes.
Am I still going to be allowed to do my promised presentation?
I'm giving you an opportunity. You know me. We've talked about this a lot. I'm not stopping you from.
Am I limited to the 2 minutes?
There's leverage. So I mean, if you're going to speak for an hour, then we're.
If you want to go first as part of the public portion, you're going to be limited to 2 minutes. You're going to get a full chance to present your position at the time of the consideration of the ordinance, which is separate from the way that the public gets heard. You certainly have the opportunity to say something at the front end as a member.
Yeah, I was hoping to do a presentation to just piggyback off of what Mayor Horowitz said
Yes.
at the tail end of this.
How long you think?
Maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And
Sure.
will you be able to tell me, are we voting, are you guys voting on this tonight?
It's on the agenda. It depends if somebody makes a motion and seconds it, and if, I don't make the rules. It's on the agenda. The mayor can put things on the agenda. I can put things on the agenda. It's my understanding that, it is on the agenda for tonight, for third reading. But why don't we start with your presentation and,
So just to piggyback off what Mayor Horowitz said, we did have a pretty productive meeting today. You guys can see. These are the plans that we have presented. This is not a comprehensive plan.
can you grab the microphone, actually? Do you mind? Sorry. Thanks.
Name and address.
My name is Michael Mooney. Address is 951 Bell Road. Like I said, this is not a comprehensive plan. There are some details that we are going to work out, but I will tell you, we met with both building departments today, and there's a lot of progress that has been made. As far as the materials, where we're going to build it, how we're going to screen it in, and how we're going to move forward into the future, with myself being the third generation in the family business. Now, I know everybody saw a lot of ugly pictures up there, but I can assure you that's not how we do business right now. I would encourage each and every one of you, if you haven't, and I don't think you have, been up there lately. I mean, Lisa Perry, I mean, have you stopped by the shop lately? Mr. Braverman?
I think.
Well,
Give your presentation.
What I'm trying to say is, those pictures that you saw, they're not a representation of how we do business now. And it's not a representation of how we're going to do things in the future. This plan is going to help it. We're going to totally screen the cars in from view. You're not going to be able to see a single car going down Orange Place and getting off the exit ramp. The plan's in place. We have action items. We have a site visit tomorrow by both building departments at 2 o'clock, I think. And after that, we're ready to go. I will say after Beechwood, just to show how committed we were, after Beechwood had tabled their legislation, paused it, I came down to Orange the very next day, and I saw Bob, and I gave him the same plan right here, just to show how committed we were. And I was promised that it was at least going to be discussed by the mayor. Tuesday, I paid my $500 for the application. By Friday, I was off the agenda. Doesn't seem to me that Orange wants to embrace the third generation of one of the longest standing businesses in Orange Village, and it troubles me. But the bottom line is progress has been made, a lot of progress has been made. We have a clear-cut plan in place, and we look forward to working with you guys in the future. That's pretty much all that I have. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have one.
Yes.
It's not real clear from the drawing over there. Can you bring that over just a little bit further, Mike? Is there a fence indicated along the southern property line? Or is it just the...
This is not the time to go into details on the plans.
Say south, are you talking about this right here? Yes, this would all be board on board. It would be board on board. Yeah.
I just ask, the only question, when you say you have a plan in place, do you know how much it's going to cost you to put this together?
We're estimating probably about 20 to 30,000, depending on what type of surface we're going to put on the back.
I mean, when you say the plan is in place, I see the picture.
Well, there's a price difference between asphalt and concrete right now. So it could vary between 20 to 30,000 is what we're coming in at.
So you've already put it out?
Oh, absolutely, we're ready.
We haven't seen that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we've,
This a week ago or so, and I spent an hour with you, so you mentioned you had a plan in place.
yeah. The fence contractor was practically begging me. He needed money for the holidays. He said he wanted to put the fence up.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for the public to be heard. You asked to do a presentation.
Sure.
You've made some assertions. I would like, before we get into letting the public comment, I'd like the building inspector to explain what happened when the Mooney project was put onto the agenda and who made the decision to take it off the agenda.
Yeah, it was put on the agenda. The application was received, the fee for the application taken. Over the next couple of days, I dug into the zoning code and came to the realization that the zoning code didn't allow for a fence under the zoning code, and that meant that the only way to get it approved was not through a simple planning commission application, but through trying to think of what the term was for a development plan review. A development plan review, which is a different thing. So I had no choice but to remove it from the docket that I had originally thought it needed to be on, because I found out I was mistaken. So we are moving forward on that, though.
How would you characterize our meeting this morning?
Oh, I think it was a good meeting. I don't think we're in agreement on everything, but we had a very good start. We have issues as to where we want the fence to go and where you want the fence to go. Those aren't exactly the same thing, but you're going to come back with a proposal for the details based on what we talked about, and then we're going to review that, we're going to go on to the next step. Just, if I can say one thing, absolutely, I should have made this super clear as Mayor Horowitz did. The goal is not to remove anybody from business in this town. The goal is to comply with the zoning code council has adopted. That's what I'm required to do. That's what I'm hired to do. So to get you there is what my goal is. Okay.
Now public. Now public.
All right, if there's any other comments, if anybody would like to come up to the podium to speak. Hello, if you could say state your name and address.
I've never held one of these before, so forgive me. My name is Caroline Delamater, and I live on Brainerd Road in Orange. And I am not understanding exactly what is going on. On the one hand, it seems to be a prettiness issue that Orange no longer likes to have the cars parked where they are. On the other hand, I am hearing something like the Moonies have been illegally operating a towing business, and I don't understand exactly what the issue is. So if you could tell me, then maybe I could state my questions.
If you could, I can answer that. There is a piece of legislation pending in front of the village. It's on the website, and I'm sure we have extra copies available.
Right back there.
Table. Oh, they're
I put them over there because I knew that that's why everybody was here.
all right. The legislation would, in conjunction with this action by the city of Beechwood, move the property line as Mr.
I understand that.
Then-
What I don't understand is what is the issue vis-à-vis the Moonies?
The issue vis-à-vis the Moonies is that they straddle the municipal boundaries.
Well, so if you, but what I'm hearing is build a fence, don't build a fence, illegal towing operation. What's going on in there?
The concern is that Beechwood and Orange have different zoning codes
I got that.
have different processes.
But what I'm understanding is that if Beechwood gives, sells, deeds, whatever verb you like, it's part of that property to Orange, then suddenly the towing business, which is a large part of the Mooney family's income, goes away because of Orange legislation.
True, and that's what the mayor was saying. The mayor was telling, Mayor Horowitz was saying, and this is true, towing as a principal use, as the use of the property that is principal, is not permitted in either jurisdiction. If towing is occurring incidental to a repair business, that's a permitted accessory use.
And so...
It doesn't matter where they are right now. They may be in violation of the zoning code in both communities. And the problem is, if the village has given them notice to stop to do something, they have done the thing over in Beechwood. And if Beechwood has given a notice to them to stop doing something, they have moved the activity to Orange Village. And if there were a citation issued by Beechwood, they would have to go to the Shaker Municipal Court. If the citation were issued by Orange, they'd have to go to the Bedford Municipal Court. So that issue with respect to that property has been going on for a while. The other properties, the office building to the south, had to come to Orange Village for sign approval when their building is in Beechwood. That is not a rational situation, either from, I believe, from Beechwood's standpoint or from Orange Village's standpoint. And so the only issue in front of council tonight is will this council adopt legislation that is its part to start to change the boundary line and make it easier to have a uniform application of the zoning laws to the property owners whose properties currently straddle that line.
And that's the two properties?
No, it goes all the way down to the Fairfield Hotel, and the Bob Evans is, the line goes all the way down to the Hampton Inn and extended stay properties, which are in Orange Village. The municipal boundary goes to the west.
Okay, but, I don't know if this thing's still working, but I can speak loudly. Why are we only talking about the Moonies?
You're here to speak on the ordinance. You're welcome to speak about the other properties, and I think we've talked about the other properties and the impact of the ordinance on those properties. All that was supposed to do is show graphically what the conditions are. So, but the only issue council's considering tonight is, do they pass the legislation that moves the property line? Nothing happens unless Beechwood also does that.
Okay, so a guy wants a sign and he has to go to his next door neighbor community to get it. I live in Orange. I have to go down to Chagrin Falls to go to my post office. This stuff goes on all the time in little communities. Why is it a big deal?
I've been involved in moving several property lines in a number of communities, and most of the time it isn't a big deal. It's done for administrative ease for the people who own the properties, so that there's only one jurisdiction they need to attend to. And there's a uniformity of law that's applicable to their property.
I'm probably going to have more questions, but I probably used my 2 minutes.
You did, but thank you. Yes,
I wanted to take a shot.
you can, we got to fight for the microphone. Everybody will have an opportunity to speak, so.
We'll get you there.
Hang on one second. I don't know. If you could hold on one second, that's not working.
I'd appreciate it if you'd address us, just so I can hear you.
That one's not working either.
If you can hold on one second, we're trying to get microphones to work here.
Got a hammer?
No?
Not working.
Okay. No,
Are any of them working?
All right, well,
sorry.
you just speak loudly, please.
Put him in the charger.
An address first. Name and address first.
I can't control not having a microphone.
You can switch Ron Barron's.
And I'm just here because I've known the Moonies for many, many, many years. And it seems like there's somewhat of a cooperative effort between everyone, and I would love to see that go on. But I will say this much, and maybe phony, but this country has been built by people like this. They're good people, they're hardworking people, and for them to be damaged in any way breaks my heart. So all I want to ask you people is to really be fair with them, because they are the sons of America. This family's a great family.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments, and I just want to clarify one more time, because I know it's been said several times. This legislation has nothing to do with any intention to damage the Moonies. We're not trying to damage the Moonies. You know, we understand they've been a business in our community for a long time, and I've had many conversations with Michael, and you know, I think we've been frank with each other, and you know, I really, that is not my intention, and I would hope that it's not anybody else's intention here. You know, we want you guys to thrive and be here, and like you said, for many, more generations, your kids and their kids. And this legislation, the purpose of this has nothing to do with trying to shut down your business or anything like that. I can attest to that.
I'm Miriam Barshan. I live in Lake County. I live in Menor. I understand what you're saying, but I do have to say the visuals of the property over the years, while you're not trying to shut something down, you're not showing it as it is today, like Mike said. And I'd just like to point out that years ago, we all did things. I mean, times have evolved and you know better, you do better. How many people I used to work in hospitals, 30-some years, doctors would sit in the lounge and have cigarettes. Those pictures would show a time where maybe this was okay. Do you know what I'm saying? That properties around it were still business and that manner. That's not a reflection today. So I think it's important to keep that in mind because visuals do impact our decisions that we make. Right. But like my dad,
It's all right.
have you been there recently? It looks like the hump that's been on for quite a few years.
Thank you for your comments.
Speak up.
Hi, my name is Katie Mooney, and I'm part of the Mooney family. I just have a couple questions, and also kind of just want to explain. So the issue seems to be that of the cars, and the nature of our work is obviously 2 fixed cars and the towing. If we look at that picture and we break it down, we count how many cars are there, and we count the amount of workers that have their cars there. And then we look at the nature of when a car comes in. If an individual is in a car accident and they go to the hospital, that car is going to sit there. And another several cars, if you've been in an accident, they have to have adjusters out before you can touch that car. So when we're showing these photos and we're looking at it, we also need to say this is part of our business. That yes, we can't just jump and fix every car immediately. That things take time. And so, while that's not the look of the city or the look that you're wanting, okay, that is the reality of the business that has been here for 50 years or 40-some years. So, with all this going back and forth, okay, a fence, let's work on a fence. The reason why we are so gun-ho and why this means so much, and it's not just a little change, is because if it is, council members, if it does go to orange, you see actually on one of the photos, there's a picture of the canopy, right? And part of that canopy is broken, falling apart. And part of this issue, why we're here, is because a simple canopy took over 10 years to get. When we applied for the fence, we went 3 different types of fence, and they were denied. And so, with that,
I think the microphone's working if you can speak into that now. Thank you.
Screamer.
No, that's okay.
Is it on? Hello? So with this does bring us fear. And this is much more than just a simple boundary moving. This is our livelihood. Okay? This is my grandfather here after the war. He came back and gave this to our family. This is a dad here that has busted his butt to give us a better life. My husband here. Okay? Part of our business, when you are in the towing business, or you own your own business particularly, these men here, our family, there is no end of shift. There is no weekend off. There is no holiday time. Why? Because they have to be on the road, they have to be out there, and they have to get these cars off the road for the safety of the community. Now we work with Beechwood, we do the towing for Beechwood, we do the towing for Pepper Pike, Mercedes-Benz. I have them here on my list. I can't even think of them. I could go on and on with the list. Beechwood, Porsche, of Beechwood, the Ohio State Patrol. These are all relationships that we have built over the years. Okay, you don't stay in business as long as we've been in business unless you hold to your word, unless you show that service, unless you're good people, okay? And we are. We are, and we've proven that, and that's why we are such a successful business. We're asking you, council members, to think of it. Yes, this is the nature of our business. So again, think of those cars, think how you break them down, think how many are our workers, think how many cars that have. It's not such a simple fix. And if the fix for you guys is a fence, we'll make any fence you want. We'll put whatever type of greenery you want it to match the city. What we're asking for is that we leave the boundary, because our fear is, part of it, and I'm not quite clear on this, so if you can clarify, you talk about that towing aspect, and we've been towing for years and years. And you talk of it as an accessory. I'm not sure how that automotive is an accessory. So what does that mean to us? So if that boundary is moved, you're saying we can't tow.
I think the mayor of Beechwood could not have been more clear. A mere towing company is not a permitted use in Beechwood.
Right.
So you are violating the Beechwood codified ordinances if you are operating a towing business on your Beechwood property.
Automotive.
In Orange Village,
Okay.
you are permitted to have the auto service station
Right.
and the gasoline filling station. Those are both permitted uses in the village. As part of the repair facility, if you are repairing the property, if you are repairing your customers' vehicles, and you don't do body work, as I understand it, you are permitted to have your customers' vehicles towed to your property where you can do the repairs. What is not permitted is a principal use that is a towing business. And you've just stood there for 5 minutes and told us you're running a towing business.
We're running both. That is part of our business, yes.
Understand these have legal consequences, and I know all of the Moonies have been talking to your lawyer about taking action with the village, and I don't want to promote that. We're looking for a resolution here. We're looking for an opportunity where the village can get what needs to be relative to its zoning codes, and Beechwood is satisfied that the laws of Beechwood are also being followed. That's what we're here about. And the ordinance that's in front of council is a step in the direction of making it easier for the Mooney business to deal with one government in terms of what is being requested. And there is an opportunity, and we've talked about this in the meetings, there is an opportunity to request a special use permit from Orange Village to make a determination that there's a similar use between what is permitted in the village and what it is that you're doing. As I understand it, that is not an available option in Beechwood. So if anything, the passage of this ordinance may be better for your business than you may have been led to believe by information that's out on the street.
Okay, well,
Your time is well up, but again, I'm not trying to shut anybody up, so if you have like a wrapping up.
I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to also thank all the Orange residents that we went to house that shared so many stories, that invited us into their homes, and that is truly the heart of community, and they back us up, and so I just want to say thanks to them.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Hello, council members. My name's Mark Kowalski. I live at 1559 Parker Drive. I've heard many times over the course of this evening that it's no one's intention to run the Moonies out of business, but intention and action need to go hand in hand, and using photos from a 10-year-long reconnaissance mission, frankly, the action of that does not go hand in hand with the intention that the council has. I can say that from knowing the Mooney family my entire life, their action has always lined up with their intentions in life. It's always been they've always been well-meaning actions. And it would be a shame to see a family that has provided so much for the community not be able to continue to do that based on a poor understanding or poor miscommunication between a city and a group of people. And I've worked for the Moonies as well, and I know that they work harder than anyone else I've ever met. They've provided my family with services for our cars in times that I don't know where else we could have gotten the work done for the quality and the price. And so it would just be a shame to have everything crumble because an agreement can't be made. So,
Your comments. Is there anybody else who'd like to make comments?
Hello, my name is Patrick Mooney, and I first want to thank everybody that came out to support our family. We truly appreciate it, and we love you all dearly. As I said, I'm representing our family business, 27,000 Sugar Boulevard in Beechwood, Ohio. And I request that the City Council today of Orange Village vote no on ordinance number 2018-45. And I speak on behalf of the entire Mooney clan in saying that we are perturbed and unsettled in this matter. Our family is deeply concerned with the future of our family business and are asking you, the council members, to consider the historic value of what is the oldest operating business in the cities of Orange Village and Beechwood. We are aware of what many council members may have heard about our family. However, on the contrary, as you've heard from many people tonight, we are good, God-fearing people who just see this business as our ministry. This is what we do. This is our calling. Okay? Throughout my whole life, my father has fought an uphill battle with the building department of Orange Village. The photos that you've all seen tonight, as my sister-in-law has said, it took 10 years for my father to get a canopy approved to the canopy that we have today. And on top of it, if we are zoned only for auto repair and for gas only, the city of Orange Village has yet to approve a gas sign to indicate our gas prices. So yet again, work with us. If we are zoned for a gas station and for auto repair shop, why have you not approved our signage, our proper signage?
It's going to approve.
And also, we want to focus mainly on making a difference in our community, okay? And when I say that, tonight, a snowy, blowy night like tonight, you guys don't realize in the comfort of your homes with your families, but my dad and my brother should be out there tonight towing people off the side of the road, getting people home safe to their families, and here we are tonight fighting for our family business. Together as a family, we went door to door to notify and inform, ultimately, the residents of Orange Village, and we went to Orangewood, we went to Pike Drive, we went to Hidden Valley Drive, and we went to several other places, but those are some in particular. Here is a notarized petition signed by citizens and residents of Orange Village that have signed our petition against this ordinance, and they have signed to preserve the historic value as well as to encourage you as the council members to vote no on this ordinance. Okay? And let me tell you the stories that we've heard.
You can wrap up.
Yes, absolutely. The stories that we've heard going door to door. The village does not feel that the council is hearing their pleas. The council, the people don't believe that they're being heard. So tonight, the council, with many residents of Orange, with us being a local business and a family-owned business, we are asking you, the council, to please open your minds, open your hearts, open your eyes, see that we are already making steps. We've already had meetings with the Orange and Beechwood building departments, and that we ask ultimately that you vote no on this, that you keep the boundary the way it is so that we can move forward, that we could work on a better relationship, and I think ultimately, specifically, we are looking for reconciliation. We're trying to come to an agreement here, right? So let's come to an agreement. We seek peace. We want to serve both communities of Orange Village. We want to serve the community of Beechwood, as we have been. And that's that.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you for hearing me, and please take into consideration.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes.
Thanks.
Do you want this?
Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine.
So this is actually a notarized copy as well as handwritten, as well as we did an online petition. And that was, this is the actual copy. This is the.
You want me to vote?
Just a copy, you want to keep a copy, that's fine. You want to, whichever one you want to keep.
So let me explain.
Are they the same?
So the petition specifically, we received over 100 over 100 signatures from specific residents of Orange Village. And then we also
Ask you, the portion we're in is when the community, like you just said, you just summarized what portion we're in. The community speaks to the council. So if you would address us, I would be able to hear you. If you want to talk with them, that's okay. But if you want to address me, face me.
Okay. So just to let you all know that handwritten signatures, council members, are your actual residents. These are people that vote in the village of Orange. Okay? The online petition is a petition of over 400 signatures of people that support small business.
Okay.
I think that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
All right, now, what's your name? Yes.
Hi, my name. It's a copy. It should be a copy.
There were more pages in it.
It's fine.
Anyways, my name is James Mooney. I'm live in Lakewood, Ohio. I'm the third of 4 Mooney boys. I decided to speak today in order to provide for you a character reference for my dad, grandpa, brother, or basically our family business, because my family is the family business. And ask all of you council members to reject the ordinance 18-45. Honesty, selflessness, trustworthy, dependable, caring, hardworking, family-oriented. These are just some characteristics that describe Mooney and Sons business. Family is everything to us, and being able to provide for our family means everything. But over time, that grew into something more. Helping others, no matter what, when, where, or how, is what Mooney's does for their customers and their community. This is what makes them an invaluable asset and so well loved in this community. I'm 30 years old, and I have many memories of my grandpa or dad having to leave family events, whether during one of our birthdays or at Christmas dinner, in order to help someone desperate and in need. Reflecting on those times, I know and am able to realize what shines through in all those moments was a resounding theme of how great my grandpa, dad, and now brother are at what they do. It's not because they had to go out and help these people, which they didn't need to most of the time.
it was because they wanted to go out and help people, even in harsh weather, regardless. And the truth of the matter is that most times, no other towing outfit or mechanic's garage other than Mooney's and Sons would help. No other towing outfit or mechanic's garage was or is capable of providing the unique, well-rounded services that Mooney and Sons provides. This still holds true today. These are the type of people that always have and will always put their community first. These are the type of people that should be worked with and not against. I can't speak to what has been said previously against my family and the business or behind closed doors, but I know this. When it comes to my family, you won't meet more honest, hardworking, and humble bunch of people. Honestly, I could talk your ears off about how Mooney's and Sons won't ever quit on a job, or how no problem is ever too big to tackle, or how...
We got to wrap up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'm finishing up. Or how they make impossible tasks into possible ones. But that would take up the next day or two of your lives. I mention them because they are some of the most important things to note when talking about Mooney's and Sons. Our community knows this truth already, and each of you council members, I urge you, should know this truth too.
Comments? Mayor would like to make a comment before others.
I'd just like to say, I've been the recipient of the kindness and helpfulness of the Mooneys. My mother, my daughter, we all know that the Mooneys are fine, hard-working people. And for those of you who don't know this and haven't heard this a million times, I too am the product of a multi-generational family. So there is no one up here that doesn't want to see the Mooneys succeed. We also represent the entire community, and I have had many complaints over the years about the situation over there. And all we want is to have it not look like a junkyard, a towing lot. We've been trying to have this happen for a long time. Introducing this legislation is the first movement we've gotten, and I just need to correct the misunderstanding and misstatement. I have the minutes and the agendas right here. The Mooneys were granted a canopy, they were granted a fence, they were granted a sign. I have the documents, I have the minutes, if you want to see it. All I have done is try to get them to clean it up so I don't have Village Square people calling me up about it. I don't have residents telling me it's a mess. We want them to succeed and thrive. We do not want an open and exposed pile of inoperable cars. And I have driven there lately, and it ebbs and flows over the years. We are and have always been willing to look at plans, and I hope this plan will work, but until this ordinance was introduced, we had no attention whatsoever and no promises of any sort to make this happen. Councilman Klein's been on planning and zoning for 15, 18 years. He has seen all the approvals that have gone out, so no one should walk out of here thinking that Orange Village has any intent other than to get it cleaned up, looking like a business that is going to thrive and be sustainable in Orange Village and Beechwood, whichever portions it's in, and make it easier for the people on that street to tend to the one community where the property is in. And I really hope this works. I hope that they get through the process and get it done, but this is the first we've gotten the attention on it, and I know everybody wants to continue going to Mooney's, but they need to not be operating a pile of junk cars.
Are there any other comments? Make it somewhat brief and not redundant, that'd be appreciated.
Oh, it's Mr. Mooney.
Okay, I want to thank Orange Council.
You can please state your name and...
Okay, my name's Dennis Mooney, 27,000 Chagrin Boulevard. I want to thank Orange Council for hearing us. Mayor, thanks for coming tonight. Inspector, all you people, it's really touches my heart to see all you people here. It really, really does. From my father, my son, our family, I want to thank all you guys for coming. I hope, we had a meeting today, like Michael said, with the building inspector. I thought it went pretty well. We're trying to go as fast as, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. We're trying to get things cleaned up and get things going. When we talk about what we would like is for Orange Village, for you council members, to vote this 2018-45 ordinance down. And when I say this, and I know that I'm sure the mayor's going to shake her head or whatever, and I don't say this for, it just seems to be like the canopy is not the canopy that we were supposed to try to get. Sunoco was helping out on paying for the canopy, and because you wouldn't allow them to have their name on the canopy, they did not kick any money in. The gentleman, Lenny Spacek, was going to be here tonight. He's not here. I don't think we have a sign permit. If we do, I got to call Lenny up right now, because they were going to put a sign up, a Sunoco street sign out by the street. And I think you made a statement saying that we have a permit for it, and I don't think we do. The canopy, yes. The canopy took a long time. Everybody had a different view of how the canopy should have looked. Sunoco had a look, and you guys didn't like the look. And you didn't let Sunoco put their name on it. Next door, Shell, they've got their name on the canopy in 2 places, plus a humongous street sign.
Towards the ordinance.
Pardon me?
Can we just direct it back towards the ordinance? I mean, we're talking about canopy that.
Okay, so you wonder why we don't want to come into Orange. It's like someone telling you to come in and jump in the water when you don't know how to swim. I've heard nothing. This is the first time I heard from Steve that it would be better for us to come into Orange, because your legislation looks like it would be friendlier to us than Beechwood side.
That at our meeting with the mayor of Beechwood.
Okay, so if you did say that, I did not hear that at that time. Okay, but it's just like what I'm trying to tell you. You're not saying to us what exactly is going to happen. If we can't get a sign out from the street to show what kind of gas we're selling, how can we trust and keep going on with it? We have property in Beechwood, had no problem getting the Sunoco high-rise sign up there. It's up there now, and it's up there. It had no problem. So you wonder why we want to go into Beechwood instead of Orange. It just seems that we can get stuff done at Beechwood and not here at Orange. It took a long time to get the canopy. I don't know if it took 10 years, but it took a long time, and I think you know that. And it's not the canopy that we wanted. And that's going backwards. I want to really go forward. I really want to try to get this straightened out myself so my son can make a living like I did and my father did. And that's what we want to do. The only thing that I'd like to Mayor Horowitz, your building department, your police department, your fire department, your paramedic department, everything, it's the best. Okay, everybody.
We like to thank ours is.
Oh, everybody here, yeah, no, I'm being realistic, I really am. And even, I don't know you, I really don't know you, okay? So I'm just telling you, if it's up to us, we would want to be in Beechwood. And I think I know we don't have a choice on which city we could go to, but I'm just letting you know. Now, maybe things have changed. Maybe this can get all worked out. Maybe, I hear that it sounds better to go over to you. I have to hear it, what you're really thinking, Steve. I have no idea. But
Up, please.
Okay, so I just want to thank you. And again, thank all you people, everybody. Thank you.
Comments? Yes. Sure, if you could keep it very brief, please.
I can keep it very brief. I didn't know anything about all of this until I came here tonight. And now I'm sorry to say, I don't know much. Mr. Byron, you assured me this is just about moving a boundary. But then I hear we don't want ugly cars where we can see them from the mayor. I'm hearing a fence, and then didn't I hear somebody say there's no zoning for a fence? I think this is sort of confused and at odds. One person is saying one thing, another person is saying another thing. And I don't think that's the way to run a shop.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Mooney.
And I live,
29250 Gates Mills Boulevard.
thank you.
I just wanted to address the issue that you have with the junk cars. These cars are of people, the work that is done on these cars, the clientele that we have, the customers, they run the gambit. We have people of means, and we have people that are so needy that they can't go to a dealership.
I'm not talking about,
No, excuse me. Excuse me, Mayor. With all due respect,
Okay.
I gotta get my thoughts across. The junk cars are from people who don't have the means to go to a dealership. And not only that is, they have to leave their car there because once Denny fixes them, they can't afford it. So they have to work up the money to pay for the repair. So those cars are sometimes left there for a week or 2 weeks, and sometimes they can't even afford the cars, so they abandon the cars there. So then what is my husband left to do with these abandoned cars? There's a process that they have to go through, and that process does not happen like this. It's you have to go to the police, you have to get the title, you have to get this. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So some of those junk cars belong to citizens. They belong to people that live in Orange Village and Beechwood and the surrounding communities. And for you to call them junk, these are all that people can't afford. Mayor, I'm sorry, but for you to call these cars junk cars isn't offensive. That I find very offensive, because just the other day, I was at the station, and this young lady, unwed mother, came up to the station. My husband dropped what he was doing to put windshield wipers in her car because it was raining. And what did she do? She couldn't wait because she walked to work. She walked to work, so she had to leave her car there.
do you do collision work? Do you fix the cars that are broken windows?
We fix cars for people of all means.
You do collision work, body work?
No, we don't do body work. We don't do body work, but we tow cars of people who have been in accidents, and to wait for the insurance adjusters to come, that takes time. So those cars have to sit there for a couple of days,
All right.
2-3 days.
If you could wrap up, please.
Yes, we've heard this from Michael. And
But you didn't hear about the junk cars. And those junk cars are people of the communities, Beechwood, Orange, and the surrounding communities. And I find it offensive that you call somebody's car junk. And those junk cars belong to people who are needy people. And a lot of times, my husband doesn't even charge them.
And do you have,
Hi, my name is Sharon Macklin. I'm a member of the Garfield Memorial Church, Pepper Pike. That's my residence. I'm there mostly every day, at church praying. I love you, councilman. I know some of you, and I know my husband knows some of you. I'm not here, the Moonies are good people, but so are you guys. So it's not an issue of good or not. But my background, actually, I'm a real estate broker, and I just need to know how long were they operating those things before we actually had an ordinance that Orange City put into place? Were they already doing that business prior to? And if so, would that be a grandfathering clause, or is that something that the residents, the zoning ordinance changed from the time that they started their business?
On the history of this, back in the 1960s, when the interchange went in, the property was zoned to the U4A zone that is currently. It is substantially in the same condition that it was. It used to be that they operated the gas station as their principal use, from what I can tell. They, if you look at the aerial photographs, they did not appear back in those days to operate it as a tow yard. They were operating as a more traditional service station with gasoline and service work. And towing, as I understand it from the various sources that I have that go back 30 years, that use has changed over the years.
Their use or their zoning?
No, the zoning has stayed the same.
Remain the same.
And when I hear family members admitting that it's a towing service and that's what they're doing there, that just confirms that they are not operating a business that conforms with the village's zoning code. There is a possibility that if council grants a special use permit, that they could operate a use that council finds to be a similar use.
Now, that was going to be my other question, the ability to get a variance. Apparently, from what I'm hearing here, and I'm just a kind of a neutral prayer warrior coming in to ask the question, if this is something that is a good service to the surrounding community, no other business exists like that right now for Orange, Beechwood, or any of those communities, and yet this is a viable service that that the Moonies can provide, that get those cars out of your neighborhood, out of the street off of the 271 or in your borderline, would those kind of things, are they eligible for variances, or what? Or are you saying that they have always been operating illegally?
There is a procedure in the village's code. Most recently, you may be familiar with LJI Collision Center.
Correct.
That is a use that is not permitted as a matter of right under the Orange Village zoning code. Council made a determination that in conjunction with certain conditions that were met and kept, that there was a need for that use in the village, but that is part of a process. We cannot approve a use that's in Beechwood. And the first step in the process is to have the one jurisdiction addressing the zoning issue. That's the first step, and that's the ordinance that's on the agenda this evening for council's consideration.
Okay, and I think I understand that, being a broker and real estate, I get that. I think what I'm hearing here, though, and mark me if I'm wrong, the consternation or the concern is that there won't be fairness in play if you take over that loan and they get pushed out, that if they come to Orange, that you guys are not going to be fair to them. And I just need to hear here on record right now that that's not the case.
That's not the case.
That's what I want to hear, because I'm going to hold you to it, my dear.
Mrs. Macklin? Last week, I gave a list of the goals for 2019 for the Village of Orange. You may listen to it on tape, you can read the minutes. And one of the items I listed was a resolution of the disagreements with what's going on at Moonies, coming up with a solution and allowing them to be a thriving and successful business and carry on. We just want screening.
And let me add.
Junkyards I was referring to, they're not drivable. I'm not insulting people's cars. I know a car that can't be driven.
Yeah,